Hi folks, welcome to another episode of Coffee HEMA, where I try and make a point about HEMA in the time it takes to make a coffee. If you're bored of hearing that, I'm bored of saying it, but I'm going to keep doing it. Today's video, I want to keep on the subject of pedagogy, and I want to talk today about plays and kind of why I don't like them, which is an opinion that I'm sure is going to get me shot or banned from certain circles, but I'm going to go with it anyway. So just to explain, like what I'm talking about, like plays, we see them in the historical texts. Absolutely, almost all historical texts I'm aware of have something that looks like a play. Typically, it's an image with some kind of text describing what's going on in that image. Although sometimes there's no images at all, and it is just the description, and the quality of that description can vary quite greatly from a very detailed step-by-step kind of approach to just some like pithy one-liner describing. Oh, and of course sometimes there's just images and no text at all. Right? There are some texts that we've got that have no textual descriptions. But whatever presentation, they're all kind of similar in that they are representing a single kind of action or a set of actions into a kind of discrete unit. And they are dangerous because it's very easy for us to pick that up as a teaching unit. And I think it's a terrible teaching unit. You see this quite a lot. I've seen it. I still see this at event classes, although I haven't done it in my own classes for a long time, where essentially a play and an exercise are one and the same, right? Every exercise is, here's a play, let's do this play. Next exercise, here's another play, let's do this play. How well connected those plays are together depends on the teacher, right? But fundamentally, they're still teaching around a single play and you working through what's described in the book. I touched upon aspects of this in some of my previous videos on variation and on language, but this is a terrible way of teaching fencing. And again, if the goal of teaching fencing is to be able to apply it, in a sparring context, you're pretty much not training most of the things that you require to get to that context by following this kind of play structure, because you're not training the selection of this from a range of options, you're just training the option itself. Arguably, whether you're training that option well, but you're certainly not training something which is, when do I choose this play or another? But they are critical in the text that we do, right? And they are the main unit used to present certain techniques. So we have this tension between wanting to teach historical fencing, as it was done, which is described in plays, and working out how to actually teach applying those plays. Interrupted by delivery. So we have this tension between two things. How do we teach the historical source that uses plays, and how do we teach it in a way that actually translates into learning how to apply the techniques? My preferred way of tackling this tension is to structure exercises that use plays, never structure them around a single play. Right? What I do instead is look through the text, come up with plays that happen in similar but non-identical situations, and teach 3 or 4 ones. So the basic unit of exercise for this is already starting to select which of these plays you're going to go through. So for instance, in Vardy, there are several plays that are variations of, I'm letting go with my left hand and I'm kind of pushing something to that side. I could be grabbing the sword, I could be grabbing the arm, I could be wrapping the arm, I could be wrapping the sword, right? Or grabbing the hand or whatever happens to be. And they're different distinct plays in the book, taught as a single exercise, right? And the student themselves is now puzzling out, well, which of these is the appropriate one, right? You need to be clear that you're not just doing them all, but working out which of one fits to wherever you end up, and then moving forward from there, building in some variation into the kinds of crossing they can come to, based upon the strikes done or the distance that they're in or things like that. Building that variation naturally will also help make it clear to them, well, which one of these works in what circumstances, and they're kind of puzzling it through in their own right. And essentially now we have the link to the historical plays built into the exercise as we wanted, but right from the outset we're training application of those plays as well as to play themselves. And I think you'll find that while people will seem to struggle with the exercise more at first, when they will much more quickly translate the exercises into sparring. In fact, they will do it, whereas they probably won't do it in the other one. And actually, sort of towards the end of the exercises, you'll see them fairly fluidly working between all these multiple ones. As you go through each of them, you will need longer for them to master it than you would if you're doing an exercise structure on a single play. But all in all learning outcomes and kind of, frankly, at least from my perspective, the fun of the exercise are vastly increased by doing this kind of combined approach. So, in short, I certainly never teach an exercise which is a single play. Always have some form of option or choice within that. Best if you can group some plays together that happen in similar but non-identical situations and allow the students to work out for themselves in the exercise which of these many things am I going to be doing, which is appropriate to the situation that I find myself in, because that will allow them to train not just the exercise or the action itself, but when to apply the action, and they will then be able to apply it in sparring faster, better, etc. Thanks for watching.